My name is Rod Boenig. I'm of the Apple Barrel. Okay, and page 1 says Wellness Anniversary. Manzana del Sol program marks its remarkable milestone of 22 years of service since 2004, 2 decades of commitment and excellence. The program started with a new wellness director, Spanda Bhavani, and me, Ruth, who is the author here, as an assistant. The current wellness director is Crystal Lopez, and I'm still here, Ruth. The program started with 1 new step exercise machine and several group classes. There was no wellness classroom, cardio room, or office when it started. The classes were held outside in the courtyard, the walking track, or the lobby areas of the 6 floors. The dedication of hard work brought us together through adventures, laughter, and memories, which has made this an amazing journey for all. The pictures that were hanging on the walls going to the wellness classroom before it was remodeled tells the story of all the years that made wellness what it is today. The new wellness edition was added later in the years and expanded into a cardio room, office, and a nice classroom with mirrors and a ballet bar. There are 3 platforms like the ones used at physical therapy offices that can be used for mat classes. There are 3 new step machines, 2 SciFit bikes, and elliptical and treadmill machines. The other equipment that are by the wall are air compressed equipment. These are the leg press, rowing, and chest press exercises, along with the cable bars used for arms and leg exercises. There is a Pilates, Cadillac, and power plate, a vibrational machine, that are excellent equipment to use. We are available to assist with these machines if you need assistance. There's a big TV screen for your pleasure when working out in the cardio room or if you're getting ready for the Olympics. The swimming pool enclosure was done before we started having aqua classes. The changing areas and handicap accessible bathrooms were added on when the new therapy room was remodeled. The classroom is used as an acupuncture clinic on Thursdays from 1 to 3 p.m. for residents who would like to get treatments. I started as a home health aide in 1992 and later transferred to the wellness department in 2004. I retired June 30th, 2023 and came back to work part-time December 2025. I am dedicated to my work, which is my passion, to help and keep our seniors living independently and keeping them strong. Written by Ruth Romanacito, and I think her tenure here parallels what we've come to recognize as the tenure of many of the residents who live here.
She's outstanding. And if you've had her for, many of you have had her for water aerobics, and she's just an incredibly trained. Oh, I'm Carilyn Cox. I think before I began to read my section of the paper, I introduced myself.
She did. Yeah.
But I've been reading to this group for about 4 years. I'm going to read to you about all the activities that are available this month. And it talks about tomorrow, which is the 3rd at 4 o'clock, is Good Friday. And therefore, Please join me in the chapel for the Stations of the Cross. This has been submitted by Christine Suppes, our activities director. Saturday, April 4th at 10 a.m. in the garden is our Easter egg hunt celebration. We will have food, drinks, and music by the band Long Drink of Water. I hope you will invite your family and friends to come and spend this beautiful day with us. Sunday, April 5th is Easter. Let us rejoice in knowing that Jesus Christ has risen. Here is an Easter prayer for the beautiful month of April. Lord Jesus, risen Savior, breathe new life into our souls. Strengthen our faith when doubts arise. Deepen our love when selfishness tempts us. And guide our steps when the path ahead seems uncertain. May we live as witnesses of your victory, bringing peace, mercy, and compassion to all we need. Amen. Tuesday, April 7th at 10:30 a.m. in the chapel there will be a performance by the Oasis Singers. They love performing here at Manzano, and they come several times during the year. Wednesday, April 8th at 11 a.m., the A&W outing for this month will be a trip to Carlito Springs. We will first have lunch at Los Cuartos Mexican Restaurant, and then we head to Carino. Friday, April 10th at 3:00 p.m. in the chapel, Benita Greenberg and her students will be performing classical music for us. If you remember her performance last year, these children played beautifully. They're her students, and many of them have been studying with her for 6 or 7 years. Please make sure you highlight your calendars and join us for this wonderful performance. Saturday, April 11th at 1 p.m. is another day out to a baseball game to watch the New Mexico Lobos at San Diego versus San Diego State. These games are free, and so is the transportation there. So it's just a wonderful outing, especially if you love baseball. Monday, April 13th at 2:00 p.m. in the chapel, Carrie Sutter would like to entertain you with a performance entitled, I Got Rhythm. Wednesday, April 15th at 9:00 in the chapel will be an AARP driving course for the first 25 who are signed up. Friday, April 17th at 2 p.m. in the dining room is our resident birthday party. Everyone is invited to attend. Note, if you are celebrating your birthday in April and would like to take a group or an individual picture, please come down at 1:30 p.m. Saturday, April 18th at 1:00 p.m. is another fun day out to the baseball game to watch the New Mexico Lobos versus Nevada. These games are free. Monday, April 20th at 8 a.m., 8:45 p.m. Excuse me, I'll get this straight. Monday, get up early and be at 8:45 out front to take transportation to the Barelas Coffee House. Sign up if you wish to go, and sign up to have breakfast there. And you know how popular Barelas Coffee House is, especially to the long-time Albuquerqueans. Wednesday, April 22nd at 12:15 p.m. will be the first trip to Amazon. We will head to Amazon for the tour and afterwards stop for ice cream. This trip will be for the residents that do need to use walkers and canes. Before, when they took a trip, they did not have room for all of the walkers, and so she's assuring us that now this is one planned strictly for people who have walkers or need or use canes, but it does not, I don't think, eliminate the ones who don't, who are independent of those. Thursday, April 30th at 2 o'clock p.m. in the chapel, the Joy Southern Gospel Group will be performing for us and the beautiful month of April. And that again was written by Christine. If you'd like to know any of these times, please phone me. I'm in the phone book, or call at the desk, or call Christine for the times, because that's a lot of information that we've been given, and a lot of times to keep in mind.
This next article, which is written by Helen Anderson's daughter, is Susan Ritchie, is right in line with what I said a few moments ago about the people who live here for a long time. Dear Manzano friends, how do you sum up 14 years of senior living in one paragraph? Manzano del Sol has been a welcoming environment which nurtured and invigorated my mom, Helen Anderson. Party Marty's out-to-eat adventures, field trips, music, themed dining events, and most of all, the wonderful community of residents and staff that made MDS the perfect bubble of love, companionship, and safety for my mom. Her 100th birthday extravaganza was fantastic, and her recent farewell surprise party was a perfect way to leave this wonderful community. Special thanks to Debbie Harrington and her team of gift shop gals for the festive surprise party on March 12th. It's sad to leave here, but at 102, she needs a bit more care. Mom and many of her special treasures are nestled in her studio apartment at Murata Quintessence Assisted Living, and there is an address and phone number here if you need it. Susan Ritchie, her daughter, can be reached, and again there's a phone number here. Helen looks forward to visitors. We consider the Manzano Independent Living a part of our family. We will miss you. Written by Susan Ritchie, Helen's daughter, and Helen Anderson. Bells in April. Wedding bells will soon be ringing for Mary Lombardo and Richard Stamm. We will be married on April 25th at 1 p.m. right here in Manzano's beautiful chapel, and are looking forward to celebrating this happy day with all of our Manzano friends. Much of the chapel itself may be full of family and out-of-town guests, but there will be chairs set up in the chapel for those who want to attend the ceremony. Afterwards, from 2 to 4 p.m., there will be a reception in the dining room. Please come and help us celebrate. Bring your prayers and good wishes, as they are the only gifts we need. Merging two apartments leaves no room for anything more. And finally, something written here by Sue Sherrill regarding the library committee. We are working hard to get the library up and running. As part of that, we could use some current magazines that you are finished with for a magazine table. Thanks for your help.
Here's an article about one of our new families to Manzano, the Romero family. Actually, Helen is not terribly new, but she's talking about her family, and you'll understand that more as we go along. It'll be very difficult for us, for those of you who have trouble with visual, because she's talking about a family portrait, and she's describing that. The 1910 photograph shown here depicts 4 generations of my maternal Romero family standing in front of their home in Cordova, New Mexico. It's a photograph that I treasure because it depicts my grandmother, Elvira, who raised me. She's the older girl who stands next to the younger sister, Josefina. The girls were sent to live with their grandparents when their mother died, and their father, Don Anciano, standing behind the girls, remarried and started a new family, leaving them, as they said, huerfanitas, or orphans. The new family included the 2 toddlers shown here, Carlos and Malachias, and their mother, Lulia. She was reputed to be a mean stepmother. Jose Ramon Romero, the girl's grandfather, and Don Aciano's father, is standing on the left next to the woman named Juanita. I do not have any information on how she fits into the family. Jose Ramon's wife, Candelaria Cordova, isn't pictured, but she played a vital role in raising the girls. They affectionately called her Mi Cordova. The elderly gentleman in the center was Juan Cristobal Romero, the girl's great-grandfather, and on either side of him stand Juan and Bernadita Fernandez. They were criados, or workers, in the Romero household. He worked outside while she helped in the house. In 1919, they were the padranos, or godparents, for my grandfather and grandmother's wedding in Truchas, New Mexico. The large show horse named Poli, short for Policarpio, including the horse so prominently in this photograph, was a way for the Romero family to display their wealth. In 1989, while working for the Museum of International Folk Art, this photograph was enlarged to cover an entire wall of the Familia Ife exhibit, which I co-curated. This image was on display for over a decade, during which time my grandmother, aunt, and uncles sat in front of their pictures. They were delighted, and so was I, to see themselves some 80 years after they were first photographed. I treasure the memory and value my time with my Romero family as brought back when viewing this photograph. And if you remember, when we read the article about Helen Lucero, she was a curator for several years at the Hispanic Cultural Center. She started out as a young woman, a young graduate of UNM at one of the Smithsonian. She had a fellowship there, so what wonderful training to get to start at the very top of one of the museums in the United States. And Sylvia Sweet has written a little poem, What a Deal. My mate and I communicate, though sometimes after sharp debate. For he is he and I and me, which at times does not equal we. He may think black, I favor white. He's thinking loose, while I'm uptight. Or sometimes it's the opposite. While he's a wreck, I'm calmly set. I'm pleased we care, we can talk and share. If problems surface, we're aware. Though he is he and I am me, eventually we will agree. And that's by Sylvia.
I've only had an opportunity to meet once at a floor meeting. This is a welcome to a new residence. Welcome to Arup Mangalik. The sixth floor welcomes our newest residents, Arup Mangalik. Dr. Mangalik was born in India and did his medical training there. He then came to the United States to pursue advanced training, specializing in hematology, that's blood work, and oncology, which I think is cancer related. For 10 years he worked in medical schools at universities in Chicago and Utah, teaching and also meeting patients. At the end of 1981, Arup moved to Albuquerque from Denver, where his son and 2 grandchildren, a boy and a girl, live, and took a position at UNM as an oncologist at the Cancer Center. In addition to seeing patients, he also oversaw students who would examine patients, make a plan for their recovery, and then present the plan to him. This may seem amazing to many, but Arup did not have a television for 20 years. Well, I relate to that, but not the most recent 20. Recently, he was convinced that yes, there are some worthwhile TV shows, so he succumbed. His favorite hobby, though, is reading, mostly books on sociology or economics, although he does admit to enjoying a good novel every now and then. We're so happy to have Arup with us, and we look forward to getting to know him better. And that is written by Mary Lombardo, and if you recall an earlier reading, the bride soon to be. 10 ways to embrace wellness, and this is written also by Ruth Ramoncito, a wellness instructor. Consult a healthcare provider first. Set realistic and achievable goals. Don't reach for the moon unless you think you can get there. Focus on strength, balance, and flexibility. Start slowly and listen to your body. Boost your mental health with exercise. Stay hydrated and nourished. That means water, not beer or wine. Prioritize rest and recovery. Be mindful of lymphedema. I'll come back to that. Find an exercise routine you enjoy. Attend wellness group classes and use of cardio equipment consistently to maintain fitness goals. And our item number 8, be mindful of lymphedema. Your body. Finally, I meant to pick one of these up and bring it in because we have had one for years and I mean to update it. This is written by Vanessa Jackson, our clinic nurse. File of life. Do you have a file of life completed? Is it up to date? The file of life is very important in case of emergency. It is the first place I look to get a list of your medications, your date of birth, your hospital choice, etc. All the information needed when 911 is called. If you need one, please stop by the clinic. As I recall the one we have, it's a little red booklet about this big, and my wife and I have it held on the side of our refrigerator with a magnet, and
This is a prayer for grace and forgive. A prayer for grace to forgive. Grant me, O Lord my God, a mind to know you, a heart to seek you, wisdom to find you, conduct pleasing to you, faithful perseverance in waiting for you, and a hope of finally embracing you. Order my life in your peace, and give me grace to forgive as I've been forgiven. Take from me all bitterness and hardness of heart. Root out whatever resists your mercy within me, that I may not withhold from another the compassion that you've shown to me. Teach me to bear wrong patiently, to release resentment freely, and to seek reconciliation earnestly. Unite my heart to yours, that in pardoning I may reflect your kingdom, and in showing mercy I may reveal your love. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. And that's taken from the Thomas Aquinas Prayer and Devotion book.
today's reading is a humorous song joining the biblical stories of creation and the Great Flood with an historic mythical story of a one-horned animal known as the unicorn. And unicorn means one-horned and nothing more. However, tales of a one-horned creature with mystical powers date back to as early as 2000 BC. That's over 4,000 years from here. And tales of its so-called magical powers have existed to this date. Despite its presence in folklore, the unicorn is a fantasy, and the only single-horned creature known to exist today in the world is the Indian rhinoceros, and it bears no resemblance to the depictions of the unicorn. In addition to the many fables of about the unicorn, we add this modern song, The Unicorn, and when I'm done, somebody's going to ask me, what did you do with the money? And I say, what money? You say, the money your mother gave you for singing lessons. So bear with me if you will. A long time ago when the earth was green, there was more kinds of animals than you've ever seen. They'd run around free while the earth was being born. And the loveliest of all was the unicorn. There was green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-backed camels and some chimpanzees, some long-necked, some humpty-backed camels and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but the loveliest of all was the unicorn. Now the Lord seen some sinning, and it gave him pain. And he said, stand back, I'm going to make it rain. And he said, hey Noah, I'll tell you what you do. You build me a floating zoo and get me some green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-backed camels and some chimpanzees, comes cats and rats and elephants as long as you're born. But don't you forget my unicorn. Old Noah was there to answer the call. He finished up building the ark just as the rain started to fall. He marched in the animals 2 by 2, and he called out as they went through, hey Lord, I got you some green alligators and long-necked beasts, some humpty-backed camels and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but Lord, I'm so forlorn, I can't find no unicorn. Noah looked out at the driving rain, those unicorns were hiding, playing silly games, jumping and a-splashing while the rain was pouring. Oh, them silly unicorns. There was green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-backed camels and some chimpanzees. And Noah cried, "Close the door, the rain is pouring, and we just can't wait for no unicorn." Well, the ark started drifting, moving and drifted with the tide. And the unicorns looked up from the rocks and they cried. But the rain came down and sort of floated them away. And that's why you'll never see a unicorn to this very day. There was green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-backed camels and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, as long as you're sure as you're born, but you're never gonna see a unicorn. Thank you for your tolerance. There's one more thing on this page. It says your feed.
Well, we come to the April birthdays. They're not a great number of them. Carol Summers has already had her birthday on the 1st. Dolores Cortez, Nancy Ann Agnew, whom we don't see very much because Nancy Ann doesn't get out and about as she used to, and her husband's is the very next day. Robert Agnew is on the 18th and Nancy Ann is the 17th. And Dale, and I never say their names right. Carnegie, is that the way you say it? Carnegie. And then Sue Sherrill will be at the very end of the month on the 23rd. We have 3 new residents, and 2 of them have moved on into the 2nd floor, and 1 on the 5th. The 5th is just about filled up now, I've been told, but they need to work on the 2nd and the 4th. Patricia Hershey and is in 214, and Betty Swanger. So you might introduce yourself if you don't know, if you run into a stranger. And then Eunice, I believe she says Hoft, I'm not sure, on the 5th floor. In each month, she tells how long they've lived here in this facility, which is kind of interesting. Patricia Staffus is a 1 year, and Roberta Menacucci has been here 2 years now. Charles and Mildred Langston, 3 years. He's been so busy over at the senior center with taxes that he's glad for a reprieve now. He's come to about the end of it. James and Jean Mann have been here 3 years this month. Wow. Oh, I'm so glad that you all moved here. Sandra Neal has been here 4 years. Caroline Money and I usually mispronounce her name and say money, and she says, think of symphony, and that's my name, Moni from symphony, and that's the way that I can maybe remember. Hank Morse has lived here 5 years, and Betty Jo Hawk has lived here 9 years. I think we moved in about the same time. Ann Olson, 13 years, and most of us know Ann, on the 4th floor, and Diana Pena, 14 years.
And I will go over this lightly because I have a strong suspicion there's very little of this that are things that we are interested in. The reading of the apple barrel course today. Library committee meeting is Wednesday. Community education is Wednesday. Tai Chi with Christine. Bingo is Wednesday. Residence Council is Monday. Food Committee is Thursday. The City of Albuquerque Book Van is Thursday. Meditation is Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And for those who are really interested in activity, there's a chair volleyball that's held on Wednesdays.
The next page is one which gives all of the church schedule. So the Sunday services, of course, Rachel's doing Easter Sunday, and they have, on the next Sunday, it's to be announced, they don't have a pastor at that point. Rachel is doing the next Sunday on the 19th, and Trudy Kretzinger on the 26th of April. The Wednesday services are all just about filled. Rachel's doing some, Trudy Kretzinger is doing one. The third on the 15th, Paul and Allison Guthrie, I think is how they say their name, and I don't know, I've not yet met them. Savannah Gold on April 22nd, and on April 29th, Mother Jane Hosea. Have you met her? Is she Catholic? Mary Grace?
Oh,
Mother Mary, Mother Jan
Jan Hosea.
Hosea. She was here last week, I think, for a service. And I know she had a collar, but.
I've never seen her, so I can't say.
Right, yeah, she may. And then Rachel goes over the Holy Week schedule in the next article, which we've pretty well covered in the very first one in the activities. That's all covered in that article. Except that I think you might find, if you go to the Good Friday service, Jasmine Shad and Cheryl Sharp. Cheryl will be playing the piano, and then the other is an absolute wonderful vocalist. And so that'll be a very beautiful service. Good Friday at noon. April Spiritual Care on the 6th floor meetup with Reverend Rachel on Monday, April 6th at 10:30 a.m. on the 6th floor common room. She provides snacks, and then she's going to be announcing more floor meetings starting in May. And it was very interesting. We have had one of those, and she's simply available to talk about anything that may be distressing or joyful or maybe interfering with your ability to really meet people. So it's just a very kind of family discussion that she has with the people on that floor and any people who come, and it's a good hour to take advantage of. And then she's talking about the Bible study also. She's going to be studying with the Bible study on the Beatitudes, which she's already started now, at 10 a.m. in the hobby room. And there will be a prayer service Tuesday in the Mesa Chapel at 10:30 to 11:30. And those will be every Tuesday at that time, held by our new chaplain.
Next article is submitted by the Activities Director, Christine Supps, and it purports to be a letter from Pope Francis, who is the current Pope. It has some very thought-provoking statements in it. The walls of hospitals have heard more honest prayers than churches. They have witnessed far more sincere kisses than those in airports. It is in hospitals that you see a homophobe being saved by a gay doctor, a privileged doctor saving the life of a beggar. In intensive care, you see a Jew taking care of a racist. A police officer and a prisoner in the same room receiving the same care. A wealthy patient waiting for a liver transplant, ready to receive the organ from a poor donor. It is in these moments when the hospital touches the wounds of people that different worlds intersect according to a divine design. And in this communion of destinies, we realize that alone we are nothing. The absolute truth of people, most of the time, only reveals itself in moments of pain or in the real thought of an irreversible loss. A hospital is a place where human beings remove their masks and show themselves as they are in their purest essence. This life will pass quickly, so do not waste it in fighting with people. Do not criticize your body too much. Do not complain excessively. Do not lose sleep over bills. Make sure you hug your loved ones. Do not worry too much about keeping the house spotless. Material goods must be earned by each person. Do not dedicate yourself to accumulating an inheritance. You are waiting for too much. Christmas next year, when you have money, when love arrives, and when everything is perfect, listen, perfection does not exist. A human being cannot attain it because we are simply not made to be fulfilled here. Here we are given an opportunity to learn, so make the most of this trial of life and do it now. Respect yourself, respect others. Walk your own path and let go of the path others have chosen for you. Respect. Do not comment. Do not judge. Do not interfere. Love more, forgive more, embrace more, and live more intensely, and leave the rest to the hand of the Creator.
Amen.
And finally, a brief note, again from Sharon Christensen. It's about the United Women in Faith. Invite any interested women to join us for a special time of fellowship. We meet on the fourth Tuesday of each month in the Hobby Room from 1:30 to 3. Our April meeting will be on the 28th. For questions, please call Sharon Christensen.
Apples. This is submitted by Barbara O'Neill. And Barbara just loves dry poetry. She says, how do you eat an apple? Do you bite it? Do you slice it? Do you fry it? Or do you dice it? Or do you bake it in a pie? Do you just bake it? Do you cover it with candy or caramel? Such a wonderful fruit. No wonder Adam couldn't resist when I tempted him and God threw him out of his garden because he wanted all the apples to himself. Here is much more to be said, but I need to take a break to enjoy my big red apple. Oh, Lord. Humor, written by Rod Friedrich. An elderly man wanted to meet young women. He thought a book on the subject might be helpful, so at the library he asked the librarian about it. And she said, try the fiction section. And Rod also submitted this little article, let's share our garden photos. Thanks to Valerie Dalton, who suggested we share our garden-only pictures on a TV screen on the first floor. Garden means anywhere on our campus. Brian will provide the needed technology using a small screen in the dining room, and the photos will rotate. Residents should email their photos to Brian, and then he gave the address for that, and if you're interested in that, we certainly will help you. Thank you, Brian, Ron says. Gift shop news. This is written by our beloved Debbie Harrington, the manager. Easter's right around the corner. We have some great items for your Easter festivities. There are great cards, books, jewelry, purses, and, of course, candy. This month, we even get to celebrate Earth Day. Earth Day is very important to me because I'm a true believer in recycling. That's why the store is so successful. We sell items that are donated. We donate to other nonprofit organizations too. And if you have to throw out an item, you can check if it's a recyclable item. Together, the little things add up to a wave of things. We can save Nemo.
This next article, next article is entitled "Braver Angels Promotes Civic Discourse." And while I don't know, I gather from looking at the article in its entirety that Braver Angels is the name of an organization. It says, "Are you sick and tired of politics? Are you like my friend who says he's a turtle pulling into his shell at hearing and reading the news? But maybe you also realize we can't have a democracy unless we keep up what's happening and work together. Still, we choose to sit at meals with those we know vote like us, or we avoid any conversation about what's happening in our nation, in fear that it will lead to an upsetting disagreement. In this, we're like most people in our country today, and because of this, our country becomes more and more polarized. We experience increased fear of people on the other side of political issues because we don't talk with them to find out how they really think." Excuse me, I lost my place. Oh, political parties take advantage of this and promote their candidates by exaggerating what will happen if the opposite candidate is elected. This makes thinking about solutions to public issues unpleasant. So we leave it to the politicians and say that we dislike politics. We're losing control of our self-governing nation. This didn't just happen with the last national election. It's been brewing for a while. After the 2016 election, when the two candidates seemed far apart in values and approaches to making our country better, the national partisan organization Braver Angels was formed. Their goal was and is to encourage a civil discourse among citizens of differing views. Since 2016, they have grown to over 15,000 members and 132 local alliances. Alliances are required to have both red and blue co-chairs. Other organizations, including a few churches, have joined them as partners. contact me, Mildred Langston, apartment 238, for more information about local events and ways to learn skills. It's been fun to learn skills through role play. I've found individuals on the opposite political spectrum who really want to work for a better democracy, or find local events and links to national learning opportunities as a web address here. Debate, discussions, workshops, podcasts, stories, films followed by a discussion, all available locally or online, for members and non-members free. And this is signed off by the organization Braver Angels, and it is written by Mildred Langston. And finally, a briefie that probably at one time or another applies to all of us. Note from the kitchen: please do not take dishes from dining room to your apartment. Please ask one of the servers for a to-go box. Thank you for your cooperation. Submitted by Dominic Romero, the Dietary Director.
Apologies to Barbara Kerr for not writing this sooner. Barbara, who I think of as the Hall 320's resident assistant, and she's asked us to introduce ourselves in the Apple Barrel to the Mazzano residents way back when we arrived in July, multiple times since then. Barbara's been kindly tolerant of our negligence. Needless to say, the move was quite chaotic due to John's incessant and careful editing of his book. We are John and Diane Hawley. John was born in October of 1932 in Evansville, Indiana, to a Presbyterian minister, William McKinley Hawley, and Evelyn James Caldwell, active ministers both, wife and artist. John grew up in the wild as a wild third child after his sister Frances and brother Charles. He was educated in Latin by his father, read incessantly as a child, and enjoyed extremely proficient teachers at Bowes High School. John graduated with a BA cum laude in geology from Hanover College in Madison, Indiana in 1954. Immediately after graduating, John was drafted into the U.S. Army, served in Germany, and after his return to the States, he worked for the U.S. Geological Survey in Indiana, leading to his move in Champaign, Urbana, and in his enrollment at the University of Illinois as a graduate student in geology. He married Diane in 1961 and proceeded to earn his PhD in geology in 1962. We moved to Las Cruces, New Mexico in October of 1962, where John was employed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Soil Conservation Service. He continued work as a geologist on the desert project of NMSU. About the time that you were there, Norm. Diane was born in Chicago, Illinois in 1938. Her parents, Frank Bandick and Josephine Horvat, were first-generation Americans. Both were born to Polish immigrants. They lived in the old Chicago stockyards area in a diverse community of Poles and Mexicans who migrated to work in the stockyards. Also residing in the area were Jewish immigrant merchants, doctors, and dentists. Diane attended Gage Park High School in southwest Chicago, followed by 2 years of undergraduate work at the extension of the University of Illinois, which was located in the dilapidated remnant of a World War II known as the Navy Pier. Yes, that Navy Pier, which now is a bright tourist attraction for visitors as well as Chicagoans. After doing secretarial work for Engelhard Industries on Chicago's Michigan Avenue, Diane continued college at the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, graduating in home economics and child development in 1961. Our 3 children, Glynis, Chuck, and George, were born in Las Cruces. And after multiple moves by the Soil Conservation Service to Lubbock, Texas, Socorro, New Mexico, and Portland, Oregon, John was able to end his employment with the Department of Agriculture and start with the Bureau of Geology at New Mexico Tech as an environmental geologist back in the desert where he belonged. In 1991, New Mexico Tech sent John to open an office for the Bureau of Geology on Central Avenue. We bought our home at Northeast Vassar and Marble, so John could walk or ride the bicycle to work on Central. John retired in 1997, and she's kind of has a clearing of a throat at that point, a question mark. And that office continued for a few years before being moved to a smaller office in the downtown Albuquerque. John then started his business as Holly Geomatters for 20 years before closing down due to impending surgery on his left jaw because of a squamous cell carcinoma after years of exposure to the sun. Several weeks ago, his oncologist said not to return since the cancer has been in complete remission for 8 years. Diane has been busy in volunteer work in the cities where we've lived and established a cooperative preschool at Presbyterian's Church in Socorro, New Mexico. Those of you who knew Nona Brown know that her husband was the minister of that church, and Nona was a resident on our 6th floor. Diane has always been active in arts and crafts, especially cross-stitch embroidery. After moving to Albuquerque, she studied and joined Master Gardeners and was a member of the newly founded Eric Garden Club. She volunteered watering and tending native vegetation, formerly on the abandoned area of the North Golf Course, north of Ronald McDonald's house. She moved on to volunteer at the Rio Grande Nature Center, leading helpers to care for this Eric Garden exhibit. Raising 3 beautiful, intelligent children has been her greatest contribution to humanity. And Richard Stamm has written to thank sincerely all those who reached out to him when his son passed away. It means so much to know that my Mazzano family grieves with me and supports me in my sorrow. Thank you for your kind thoughts and prayers. And that was 2 months ago that he lost his son. Betty Griffiths has submitted this prayer. I think it is. God has divine order, or God has divine order to the universe, the ebb and flow of the tide, the monthly phases of the moon, the recurring cycles of the 4 seasons, the progression from day into night and night into day. So we also need to establish order in our lives. If you take it out, you put it back. If you open it, you close it. If you throw it down, you pick it up. And if you take it off, you hang it up. Hard for kids to learn, right? Turtle Mother Earth by Mary Gruby. Turtle is the oldest symbol of the planet Earth. It's the personification of the goddess of energy and the eternal mother from which their lives evolve. We're born of the womb of the earth, and to her soil, and our bodies will return. In honoring Earth, we're asked by the turtle to be mindful of the cycle of give and take, to give back to the mother she's given us. And that ends all the articles except the one concerning wellness trip.
And here ends the lesson for today. This is page 15 of the Apple Barrel. It's entitled Wellness. Spring has sprung here at Manzano as we see more color bloom each day. It's time to take advantage of the beautiful weather and all the health benefits it has to offer. Spending time outside offers significant, well-documented benefits for physical and mental health, including reduced stress, lower cholesterol, improved mood, increased vitamin D levels, and enhanced cognitive function. Just 5 to 20 minutes in nature can boost relaxation, enhance immune function, and improve sleep quality. Our wellness program, along with activities, is providing several opportunities to enjoy the sunshine. Join us April 8th for an outing to lunch at Los Coates restaurant, followed by a visit to Carlitos Springs Open Space. Carlitos Springs is located on the southeast face of the Sandia Mountains near the village of De Harris. Carlitos Springs is named for the spring that flows from exposed bedrock in the north-central portion of the property. This spring provided water to a residence and several cabins and continued to feed several ponds and a lush riparian environment that nourishes ornamental gardens and an orchard. This spring water also provides critical habitat for many species of birds and animals. They have several accessible trails that even walkers can be used on. Sign up in the activities binder. Join us in the garden for sunshine and a game of cornhole on Thursday, April 2nd, and it's today, at 3:30 p.m. We will have 2 sets of cornhole boards and play 8 players at a time. Come and join the fun. Sam Shore Community Education educator with a Place at Home agency is joining us again. This time he will present an exciting game of Family Feud style on stroke risks. Join us on April 9th at 3:30 in the chapel. Crystal will be out of town this week from April 20 through 24. Ruth will cover some classes, but the following classes will be canceled: water aerobics, cardio dance, mat class dance, and cardio drumming on both the 22nd and the 25th, and that is submitted